And we're here. It's another Thursday, and it's time for Comic Book Spectrum. I'm here, and Cliff is here, but we are missing one individual tonight here. They have to take a little bit of a respite, but they will be back next week here. But nevertheless, we're here. We're in September, Cliff. It's weird.
I know, I know. I keep looking at the calendar and I'm like, where's the rest of the year? I don't want to start thinking about the holidays already, but here we are.
Yeah, that's the strangest truth here. But they also give us a time to kind of reflect on this month's theme here. And this month, we're going to really sit back and talk about, take some time to think about and talk about a lot of the older Hanna-Barbera adventure cartoons that we probably grew up with during this time here. And we're going to start off, well, actually, we started off this week with one of the, if I could say, underrated, but yet true to the comics shows that have ever been created by Hanna-Barbera. And that was Fantastic Four back in 1967.
Hmm.
And it's weird because it's almost as if they really paid attention to the source materials during that time frame. And nevertheless, it's kind of like, it puts you in that mood to, like, if you was a Fantastic Four reader back then, you could go from watching the cartoon to wanting to read the comics and get that same feel.
Yeah, I honestly probably out of all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, of the
Mhm.
big name ones, probably watched Fantastic Four the least, just because it was never on. Um, which the Hanna-Barbera one was not the one with Herbie in it, was it?
No.
I saw more of that one.
Well, I
But
got a
but
treat
I am
for you then.
yeah, but I am familiar with it because it used to come on Cartoon Network
Hmm.
years and years ago, and I
Hmm.
caught up on it. But yeah, it's I didn't watch it as much growing up as I did like Space Ghost. So.
Oh, Space Ghost was on all the time. Space Ghost, Birdman was on all the time. Hercules was on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the lesser known ones was paired up with some of the bigger names here. Like Birdman was paired up with Galaxy Trio. I believe Space Ghost was teamed up with Mighty Samson, I believe, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or was that Hercules was teamed up with Mighty Samson?
I want to say that it sometimes switched because I watched Hercules religiously, and
Uh-huh.
I know that's where I got introduced to like Mitor and Frankenstein Jr. and stuff. So I think they rotated them sometimes because I
Okay.
saw a lot of them.
Cause I can't remember who had Dino Boy. Dino Boy and Ugg.
Was it on with Johnny Quest?
No, Johnny Quest was his own series. Johnny Quest, that whole episode was Johnny Quest. So
They
I'm up
must have
here.
come on at some point when I was in visiting relatives during the summer.
Mhm.
It was like a block of them because I watched Johnny Quest and a couple of them in a row. So
Right.
that might be what I'm thinking of.
I mean, I can't remember the original show notes here because, like I said, we mentioned Mitor. We had Mighty Samson, which was the one that I forgot in our chat earlier.
Hmm. Yeah,
Most people
yeah.
don't remember Shazam.
No, the no he Shazam was always kind of funny because the genie looked like your standard villain from a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was always tripped me out.
That plus the way that they summoned him too. It was never a lamp.
Mm-mm.
It was two rings coming together to form his name Shazam.
Yeah,
I was like,
like
that's weird. But
yeah,
that
that's
but
like
that led us. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna that's like the old short-lived Thing cartoon with
Right.
young
That was
Ben
about to get
Grimm in
ready
it.
to mention exactly that. Ding
Yeah,
ring, do your thing.
yeah,
The skinny redheaded dude, and all of a sudden it's like ding ring, do your thing, and then it's like Ben Grimm pops up. It's like, what am I what am I doing here?
yeah. It was funny because I right before we came on here, I was talking to my wife about what we were talking about, and
Mhm.
she mentioned, you know, Captain Caveman, and I was like,
Captain
yeah,
King.
those are the Scooby Doo clones. And if you look at it for a while, it was like Hanna-Barbera either put out Scooby-Doo clones or some kind of Space Ghost action adventure clone.
Mhm.
That's like
Or,
all we could
or I
get.
should say Johnny Quest Adventure Clones.
Yeah. And because like I watched all of those, and it was like if I closed my eyes, it would be hard for me to tell which cartoon I was watching. Like, is this Josie and the Pussycats or is this Jabberjaw? Yeah.
Wow, Jabberjaw and the Neptunes. Wow.
Oh yeah, yes. But I spent most of my childhood trying to track all of those down before we had cable. So
Because now since you mentioned Captain Caveman, because I believe Captain Caveman came because of the Flintstones Family Hour.
I know he was on there. I don't know. I don't remember the time frame of all of it.
Because then he had no, or maybe that was the Smoo.
The
Because the Smoo, I
Shmoo.
believe, had the Angels. I forgot what
The
Captain Caveman had.
he had the no, it's Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels.
Okay, so that's why so I did remember correctly. It was the Teen
Uh-huh.
Angels. But who did the
Yeah,
Smoo have?
the Shmoo was something like the Clue Crew or something like that.
Yeah, all
It's
that came from Flintstones for some reason.
yeah. So but yeah, no, I didn't know until I was much older the Shmoo was actually a comic book character.
Hmm.
So that that was kind of neat because my oldest daughter and I, when Boomerang first came around, we watched a lot of those together, including when she was young, she really had a thing for the Shmoo theme song, so we watched that one a lot.
See, now since you mentioned, the whole thing with Scooby Doo clones, one of the least liked ones was the Funky Phantom.
Funky Phantom, yes, Funky Phantom. What was Fang Face was one where it had the kid that would if he just saw a picture of the moon turn into a werewolf.
I thought that was Ruby Spears.
Was it?
I think that was Ruby Spears that did Fang Face.
I just lumped them all together as Hanna-Barbera after a while in my brain.
I was trying to save that for another month because Ruby Spears had one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. They did his show.
Mm.
They did my boy Il O'Brien,
Oh, yeah. Yes.
the Plastic Man Power Hour, if I remember correctly. It was Plastic Man, Goldie Gold, and somebody else. I forgot who it was.
Yes. Now, was it that one or the later one where he had Plastic Man Jr. with him?
The Baby Plas.
Yeah, Baby Plas.
No, that was still that
Uh,
show here. But
yeah.
it went through several incarnations here because it was one time it was all cartoon, and then they added a live action aspect to it where they had a guy playing Il O'Brien.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's Elaine. Elaine
Hey,
is
Elaine.
actually watching us from a remote site here.
She's judging us.
Yep. But as I said, I got a treat for you here since you haven't watched too much of the Hanna Barbera Fantastic Four. I do have one already queued up for us here.
Some,
So this is the goodness that we had back in the days where we either watched it first run back in the '60s, or kind of like how I was, we watched it on reruns on Sundays.
hmm
Where'd the rock come from? It's a meteor that Reed bought from a farmer. It had fallen in his field.
Are you picking up any sound, Ben? There's a crackling.
Yeah, that was another thing. Where did Reed Richard gets money from?
I've been able to penetrate this meteoric material with my most sensitive devices.
Maybe I can burn a hole in it. Flame on!
Yeah, this is one of the better Fantastic Four because it had Johnny Storm before Herbie replaced him.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even face it.
Hold it. What do you want to do? Blast us out of here? Let me try. Boy, it's still hot. That might make it brittle enough to knock a hunk off. Ow! That about busted my little pinky. But I got it, chum. This is remarkable. There is some sort of nuclear core in this meteor, yet it showed negative on the Geiger counter. I think I'll test it on the radium stabilizer. They'll project the test on the big screen.
I'm all set.
Here we go.
I have it.
That material has the strangest molecular structure I've ever seen.
Changing.
Yes, it's absorbing uranium from the stabilizer. Quick, turn it off.
This thing looks dangerous. It will need a lot more study.
Right, Sue. Then when you put the big meteor in the lead vault...
Notice how they're messing with radiation without the proper suits.
Hey, Johnny, what's
I
going
mean,
on
at this
outside?
point, what does it matter? They're already irradiated.
That's true. They already bit through the radiation once.
Some kind of flow.
A little bit of cancer won't hurt too much.
Let's get down there fast.
And here we're going to have our villain of the week.
Silence! Before I speak to you, observe the building behind you. It's gone! Incredible! I can't believe it. Broke above you! Hey! Exploding in the sky! This man, whoever he is, has the most amazing powers I've ever seen. Now, behold the building return to its foundation. That is an example of my power. So listen well to what I have to say. I hereby nullify every man-made law. There will be none to give orders except me, the Molecule Man. I will be the law. That's why we live. Who dares? Who dares question the Molecule Man? We dare. We who are known as the Fantastic Four. Who are you? Since it will not affect my plan for all of you, I will tell you who I am, and also of the source of my tremendous power.
Soliloquy time.
2 years ago, I was just a laboratory technician working for Acme Atomic Corporation. I did all the work, and they made all the money. I dreamt of bigger and better things for myself. But no man can work with atomic devices while his mind toys with other toys.
What's wrong with these burger
Oh,
buns?
commercial
They
time
taste
because
perfectly
it's
delicious, but due to a
YouTube.
production mishap, their bottoms are slightly curved instead of flat. Traditional grocery
Okay,
stores
come
wouldn't
on,
sell
we
these
don't deal
imperfect
with
brioche
that.
buns, but Misfits Market can.
And yes, that is correct.
A trillion to one accident. The terrific atomic forces had done something to me. I knew a molecular change had taken place. A tingling of power. Because of the accident, I have acquired the power to rearrange all molecules, to control everything, to be all-powerful. All mankind shall obey my every command. Not all mankind will obey. Not the Fantastic Four. You fools! Do you think yourselves capable of crossing swords with me? That's street-like. I'll rearrange the molecules. Now behold, a giant aircraft engine in reverse pitch.
I didn't get my force field set fast enough. The wind has caught Reed.
Now I create magnets from dust particles.
Wait, what? Since which Reed is metal? What part of Reed is metal? Please tell me that.
Then wreck the wind machine. I'll go help Reed. Flame on!
The iron in his blood, like Magneto.
Confusion. That's one. Now, stretch down. Now I'll help you loose. You see how I can toy with a Fantastic Four? But I must leave you for now. I have a meeting with your military
Eli, like, soon as Johnny left, Reed blew it in the wind.
You know, gang, our answer to the molecule man may be in electricity. No one has ever caught it or stopped it long enough to study it.
I get it. You don't think the molecule man can alter the molecule in electricity.
Right, Sue. And I have an idea for a weapon that he won't be able to stop. Well, let's get to work on it right now. Extra, extra! Molecule man to speak to chief of staff! Extra, extra!
Yep.
I am sure you are all aware of the changes I have caused in all of your military equipment. All of your tanks and armor are now sawdust.
Evening, Dom. We're going over some of the classics here. The 1967 Fantastic Four.
I love the fact that he's showing off his powers, and his idea to scare the population was, I'm gonna turn this lamp into a big fan.
I have rearranged all the molecular structure. Why is this meeting called, and what is your plan? I called this meeting to inform you that I am now your supreme commander, and you shall do as I say. No.
Going to shake an angry fist. Like he can, like an angry fist is going to do something.
With this gun, I believe that we can meet the molecule man on equal ground.
I don't quite get it. Then how do we use the gun?
Quite simple. It's a defense weapon. You shoot the object that you think is going to change, coating it with a microelectrode power. Since he can't rearrange electronic molecules, this defeats his effort. I get it, Reed. Instead of bullets, the gun shoots fast.
The molecule man is terrorizing the entire country. How do we start to defeat him?
We start now. And so this city is under explicit orders from the molecule man. Any citizen knowing the whereabouts of the Fantastic Four must report this information to the molecule man. Careful now.
So now they're wanted.
Do you become invisible and get close to it? Johnny, get as close as you can, but try to stay hidden. Be ready to flame on when I signal. Okay, go. You and I will bring up the rear. It's clobbering time. Let's go.
And there it is.
But the best way to prevent divorce, stop separation, and win your
Come on, give me the. We don't want to talk about no divorce. We don't want commercials.
And if you don't deliver the Fantastic Four to me by tomorrow, I will destroy the city. And in the meantime, I'll put a glass cage over the entire area. And as a further reminder of my powers, observe the statue on my left. I release you, Simba! All this molecule, man. It's clobbering time! You're not wanted in the crowd. Yo, kitty!
Yeah, you're gonna just throw the lion somewhere else in the middle of the crowd, where it can still be active.
I just like the fact that apparently it was young Samson's lion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hanna-Barbera has a knack of reusing a lot of things here.
It worked. Now to get set up for Johnny. You realize that your powers are not as you thought they were. Surrender. Never. Not while I can change the molecules of dust in the atmosphere. Don't let him get away, Johnny.
Okay, Reed. Wow, I can't touch his bubble. And he warms the drive faster than I can burn it. Give me more.
What are the Invisible Woman's powers? What are the Invisible Woman's powers? She can make things invisible and create force fields.
Quick, Sue. See if you can throw your force field in front of it.
I think I can.
Good work, Sue. Can you hold him?
I can't. He's dissolved his capsule. He's getting away.
Don't worry, Sue. When he gets down, I'll club. They think a simple force field can hold me. Ah!
He's falling.
Don't be too sure. From the particles, I, the molecular man, can form any piece of equipment I need.
Why did he just form the ship in the first place? I'm gonna create this bubble. It's just gonna slide my way to escape.
I'll find out, and then the final round.
I forgot Reed's hair has been graying since the
We've
60s.
located the tank the molecule man has rearranged. I intend to get that information.
But it also makes me think that it's kind of that way because he's supposed to be middle aged.
Powder electrode gun to 2 miles. This should be a great help.
It's like, how does a 30-year-old man get gray just right there around his sideburns?
With no kids
Right. Or well, no kids yet.
yet.
Let's go.
There's the tank. If Mr. Molecule Man aims his wand at this stuff, he'll be in for a big surprise. Start shooting, Ben. Just as good, Ben. Shoot all the rest of that equipment while we rig the tank. Okay. Johnny, you jump inside and torch that cannon out of the turret. Quicker than a wink. We'll put our powder electrode gun in the turret and get close enough to give him a bad time.
Hey, the cannon is cut loose. Here it comes.
That does it. Everyone get aboard and we'll see if we can find Mr. Molecule Man. Stop here. I'm going to stretch up and see if I can spot him. Ah, there he is in the square again, haranguing the people. Thus far, I disregarded your disobedience, but whom the fantastic war will be no more. And then? No, head for the square and get ready for a fight.
Reed is being Reed. Don't care about the people that's there in the square. It's like, no, we about to go there and fight them.
Enemy approaches. See how easy I stop them. I change the molecules of cement. I break the streets and stop them. Okay, Johnny, start cutting. Yes, let this fight get loose. It would tear up the town.
Wait, how in the world did he tie up piping?
Kick off projects.
How?
How about a ring of fire to hold it? Oh, God! What was that fire? A bucket of water, George! A bucket of water!
Uh-huh.
Fly away, little boy, I'm busy. Ah, my wand! What's happening? It's the invisible girl. Frost particles will reveal her. Hey, Johnny. go to
Why would
headquarters and bring
she?
me the meteor
Okay, this is
fragment.
just poor writing.
Okay.
For the person who has the strongest force field in the Marvel universe, why would she worry about that?
I think it's the real answer.
Oh, she's a girl.
It's clobbering time with your own firefight, Mr.
I
Molecule.
agree. Good thing Sue had a driver's license. Yeah.
But I will now drop you into a bottomless pit. I'll put a few shots of dust at his feet. My arm! What happened to the pit? Now I'll crush you. I'll shoot powder electrodes over Ben's head. I can't create anything to crush you with. I can't stand it. The pain. What is it? It's your finish, Molecule Man. Shall I explain? Finish? Wherever I fire this gun, your powers are nullified. And when you try to use
See
them,
the arrogance of Reed Richards at its best.
Believe it. Hold up the weapon. Here it is.
Careful, Reed. Don't trust him.
Aha! Disintegrate! Disintegrate! Like I said, you're through. No! No! I'm not beaten. I'll go back to my nuclear globe and think. Here, Reed, here's the meteor fragment. What's going on? Tell you later. It's still glowing.
Dang pain, boss, the pain.
Stay focused on the glow. Like I thought. The atomic globe is reacting.
Oh, look how it's shrinking.
Now it's changing shape.
Who is he?
He's the lab technician who was injured in the atomic explosion. What happened? Why am I not in my lab? Why am I out here in the street? We take over now, thanks to the Fantastic Four.
How did you ever figure out that the meteor fragment was a secret?
We knew that the Molecule Man was hit by an atomic explosion and was full of radiation. I hoped the meteor fragment would absorb his molecular powers. And it did. Just think, that's all that's left of the powers that was going to conquer the Earth. Yes, well, it looks like the power
But yet it did change them back.
Who knows how he got it?
Mm-mm.
Who knows? Maybe he'll do it again.
But then again, the writing and stuff back then was what it was.
Stay tuned for more of the big guy, Super Chuck on Cartoon Network.
Oh, Space Ghost.
Yeah, but that's getting to like next week is Herculoid, so we're going to deal with them, and there's a lot of lore to cover with Herculoids, a lot.
Yeah.
But it's
I
not
like
too much. Go ahead.
I like the fact that they Hanna-Barbera apparently hired the same animators who did the Spider-Man 66 cartoons, because they started to draw all of the rocks on Ben Grimm and got done with his head and said to hell with it.
Mhm.
So,
Everybody's like, they just need to get close enough, because
mhm.
if they did it just like the just did like the comic books, it would have been a pain in the rear for all those animators to draw it and have him to emote and everything.
Yeah.
But
Now,
go ahead.
was the Molecule Man's power back then like firestorms where he couldn't affect organic stuff? Or
No.
is it just that was just they didn't think about it when they were making the cartoon?
They really didn't want to get in truly in depth to what he could do.
Mhm.
Remember, Molecule Man technically was one, later on in the Marvel universe, was one of the emissaries of Mistress Death. That's how
I
powerful he
always
was.
liked Owen Reese. I thought he was a cool character.
that's how powerful he is. I think in the 1960s, late 1960s, early 70s, they just haven't thought out that far along about how powerful he really was.
Right.
So they
'Cause
had to have
he
some
had
type of way to make him, fail.
right. Yeah, because he had the for a while he had that wand that was the only way he could use his power, and then he didn't need it anymore.
Right. It's like he eventually realized that his power was like made him one with the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So he could affect any type of molecule in the universe. That's include microverse as well.
Right. Yeah, because he was like half of a cosmic cube.
Almost, yeah,
Yeah.
almost something like
It
that.
was like him and the Beyonder when they first did Secret Wars 2 were kind of like a cosmic cube exploded or something, and they both were like the result of it, or something like that. Because I know him and Beyonder were connected.
Not connected. They weren't connected, but because of Molecule Man's power,
Mm.
he could sense him. He could sense
Mm.
Beyonder.
Okay. I liked what Jonathan Hickman ended up doing with him in his Avengers run,
Mm-hmm.
where he made it where what were they called? The Ivory Kings, the Beyonders, not the one, but
Mm-hmm.
all of them. They took the Molecule Man and they split him across the entire multiverse, where there was only one of him in all the multiverse. Just it was all the same one. And their plan was they wanted to see what would happen if his power overloaded and he exploded all at the same time. What it would do to the universe. And I was like, well, that's kind of a neat concept. But yeah, I always liked the Molecule Man. I thought he was a cool character.
Well, see, that's why I don't like more of the modern creators, because you're going to break lore at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because by that time he was already married to Marsha, aka Volcana, and because of what happened in Secret Wars, they both went from being criminals to being, characters that was, they were left alone. They were literally left alone because of the simple fact of they realized how powerful Molecule Man was, and Marsha did not want to go the life of villainy because of what happened during Secret Wars. She was still Mary McPherson, aka Titania #2's best friend, but she didn't go the route of villainy after Secret Wars. They pretty much kind of stayed hidden. And then every so often, Mistress Death will come knocking on his door and be like, "Hey, I need you as an emissary to go talk to these people with me."
Mm. Didn't Volcana die at some point in the
No.
book? She didn't. Because I know he
She's
still
still
pops up.
around. She's still around. She was still in the recent She-Hulk books. Because remember, at least in the Rainbow Royale run of She-Hulk, she was still around because they formed that fight club between her and Mary McPherson. They formed a kind of like a fight club to blow off steam, and she was there. She was part of that fight club.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because I just remember for a while you'd see the Molecule Man, but they didn't even mention her when he showed up. So
it was weird because it was, and I could probably pull out that issue too, because it was her, Titania, Absorbing Man, which caught me by surprise because I thought by that time Absorbing Man was like half dead, half alive, depending on who was writing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they were trying, and Jack of Hearts, they was like Jack of Hearts happened to stumble in on one of their sessions where they were just out there just blowing off steam, just like fighting in like abandoned construction sites and stuff like that, where they didn't have to worry about their powers getting away.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it's interesting, but no, Volcana is still living. She's still living. Okay. So that's why I said that what Hickman did, I was like, why are you going to mess with lore? Because if that was going to happen, that would have meant that there would have been multiple Marshas running around, and I know Marsha would have eventually talked one out of being a part of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
She would have eventually figured it out, because Marsha's not dumb. She's
Yeah.
not dumb by no means.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Jonathan Hickman's writing, but sometimes I think he goes a little too grand to be grand, like in that Avengers run.
Mhm.
They killed the Living Tribunal. Okay, you want to show how powerful you are, or whatever. But then they had like Tony Stark or Hank Pym made armor out of his body, and I'm like, wait, what kind of sense does that make?
See, they cut. I had an idea about what would happen when that happens.
Mm,
It's like, okay, you killed the Living Tribunal. Guess what happens? He's instantly replaced. The universe instantly replaces him
yeah,
or her or the being.
right.
And usually that, in the way that I was looking at it, that being would be somebody that understands the true sense of justice across not just their universe, across the multiverse.
Hmm.
So, killing him would actually spawn another multiversal being to take its place here. So that would made me kind of wonder. It's like, you know what? It's like you had the superhuman law community already know about the Living Tribunal, and they would have feared something like that happening because they wouldn't know who would be the next arbiter.
Yeah.
And if it was somebody in the multiverse that hated 616 universe, guess what? 616 is doomed.
Hmm.
So, those are kind of like the grandstanding things, like you said, with Hickman, that he doesn't think about. Sometimes these modern writers just don't think about lore at all.
Yeah.
This thing is like, oh, it's a cool character, we can mess him over and nobody knows the wiser. It's like, well, what about us who know a little bit of lore about that? It's like, yeah, you killed the Living Tribunal, but you just spawned another arbiter.
Hmm. It's kind of like in
multi-universal.
DC. Anytime DC has their big event and they got their new big bad, whoever it is, one of the very first things he does is beat up the Spectre to get street cred. It's like, seriously, it's the freaking Spectre. What are we doing here?
Okay, you beat up Spectre only because you caught Spectre off guard. That's the first and foremost thing. Because if you ever notice, you beat up the Spectre, but there won't be a second time.
Mm-mm.
I have never seen a big bad in DC that could constantly beat the Spectre. You may be able to beat him once, but that second go around, you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, what is the one that it really hit me was during Blackest Night when Necron showed up and the Spectre was there and he's gonna stop him and he just like waved his hand and Spectre disappeared. I'm like, seriously? We've been building up the Spectre becoming free and he lasted a panel. What are we doing here?
Well, you have to understand an untethered Spectre still would have to fall upon the rules of the higher power, and Necron, understanding that, could use that against him. So, like I said, temporary victory. What happens when the Spectre comes back? Oh, you won't be able to shoot him away like that again. Just like the whole thing with Darkseid. Yeah, you could beat his constructed body, but you don't get rid of him.
No.
Because he's not the entity that we see all the time. He's something greater. He just is. And the one time that we saw what he was, people didn't understand it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like it's always funny because it's like they.
Okay, Lane. We'll see you next week here.
Bye, Lane. With the bigger, higher concept characters like Darkseid, the Living Tribunal, Spectre, it's like they want to use them, but they don't really know what to do with them sometimes. It's like,
well, the characters that they make,
let that be it.
The characters that they make, they don't really develop, because it's like, the whole deal between him and the High Father. How powerful is the High Father? Why is the High Father always chilling high in the background throughout these events? Doesn't take it, doesn't take any concern about it. Or Metron, it's like, for a person that could go in and out of the wall and not get messed up by the wall. Why do you do the things that you do?
Mm-hmm.
Spectre.
Yeah. Now I always took Metron was a bit of an asshole, and that's why he did things he did. But
Well, Necron was, if I have to say it, it's kind of like the Marvel's equivalent to Mephisto. He's really that powerful, but at the
no,
same
not
time, it's
Metron.
like at the same time, it's like they don't know how to write character. DC does not know how to write characters like that.
Yeah. I don't know. DC is my favorite comic book publisher, but I always thought Marvel did better with the big like cosmic characters than and it really sucks because DC has some really cool cosmic characters. They just don't really know what to do with them half the time.
Like the Quintessence.
Mm-hmm. Do you know how much fun a buddy team up comic between Space Cabbie and Ultra the Multi-Alien would be? Just bouncing around the multiverse. That would be so awesome.
Okay, I just see it, just the hijinks alone. You know, they pop in on somebody like Ambush Bug, and then they go and see somebody like the main man Lobo, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they get one of the Quintessence, and the Quintessence takes them out into this far outreaching thing for something crazy happening over there, where pretty much it resolved itself in the most craziest way, and they just get to witness all of this stuff and be like, all of the day's work.
Yes, that I DC. I know you're listening to us. There's your idea. Write it, James Gunn. Get on it.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like you mentioning him. It's like, well, knowing how writers are now, they could mess it up.
Oh yeah,
but they have to understand their lore, because I'm up here. It's like you have Phantom Stranger. They don't know how to really deal with him. They don't know how to deal with a lot of characters. Deadman, they don't really know how to deal too much with him on the cosmic level of things.
Yeah,
They don't know how to deal with Orion on the cosmic level of things.
well, now, I mean, my biggest thing about Orion has always been, yes, I understand he's fated. He could be the next dark side, blah, blah, blah. After a while, everybody gets over their daddy issues. He still has them. I'm like, seriously? Come on. You can do something else with him besides that.
That plus, I hate the one other thing that about him that no other writer has written away from him, and I kind of get it that it's stuck to his lore. He's the personification of self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm.
If he sees himself dying, he will die. And
Yeah.
I'm up like, why? If you was born and raised to be the hero and not like your father by the High Father, why would you go into these battles where you know you're going to die and it's going to take somebody else to resurrect you back? And it's like the only difference between you and your father Darkseid is that you haven't tapped into the ability that you just exist.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. You know.
Yeah, it's like it's that one of the final books I read from the X universe before I finally just gave up on it was when Cannonball beat up Gladiator from the Imperial Guard because he lost confidence. So Cannonball was able to beat. I was like, seriously, this dude is y'all's version of Superman, or one of your versions of Superman, and freaking Sam Guthrie is gonna no. I kind of walked away from after that. So.
Well, but the thing about it is that's how you beat Gladiator. That's truly how you beat Gladiator, and that has already been established. But like you said, Sam Guthrie are all people doing it. I mean, that's just like the trio of, if I remember this correctly, Psylocke, Longshot, Rogue, and Dazzler beating Juggernaut.
Okay. No.
And you know how they did it? It's because of long shot. Somebody's like, oh yeah, long shots ability just to be the luckiest guy ever shot his knives in such a way where it got stuck and wedged in the neck of Juggernaut where they could pry the helmet off. So they're
Okay.
up here fighting. They're going toe to toe. There's nothing that they could do. There's like everything that they tried, they couldn't do anything. They didn't hear long shot, shoots the knives. Knife have no effect on them, but it did wedge. They finally saw that it wedged, so they came up with a plan to take the helmet off of him. Now I'm up here. It's like, wait a second. Normally, Juggernaut is a pretty smart cookie. If he has the old school dome helmet on, 9 times out of 10, up under there, he has the skull cap, which means that he maintains his power. Why is in this issue that he did not have the skull cap on?
And the skull cap and helmet prevent people like Professor X or Psylocke getting in his head.
So
it was laundry day. He was cleaning it.
So the way that all this happened after Lawshot did that, Dazzler comes in, blinds him enough where he was disorientated. Rogue comes in, swoops down, grabs him, rips the helmet off of him. Now his head is exposed. She kisses him to depower him immediately, drops him to the ground. And Psylocke was there just to be able to help Rogue deal with the psychic change where she doesn't become like Juggernaut. I'm like, this is some nonsense. And people who don't believe me, I believe that issue was what issue? I want to say it's like 221 or 222. If I have to look it up, I'll go ahead and look it up. And if you guys really want to know, I'll go ahead and type it in the comments later about what issue. But that actually happened in Marvel continuity. Now up here, it's like, out of all times, it's like, why didn't he have the skull cap on? It's like Juggernaut back then, it's like he was not something to be played with, at least not in an X-Men book.
No. Because for a while he was bouncing around Thor, and Thor couldn't stop him.
He was bouncing around everywhere. Spider-Man couldn't really stop him. It's like Spider-Man just pretty much was like, okay, dude, it's like, I might die. Like, I might die trying to stop you.
Yeah, because they had that really cool panel where all he could do was hold on to the back of his head and just take punches until he could think of something else to do.
And Juggernaut got bored of it. It's like, okay, fine. You prove that you're tough enough. I know that you can't beat me, but this is boring. This is boring. It's like,
yeah. But that's just a strange little group of people.
All because of Longshot being able to make that one shot happen.
Okay.
I mean, if we could believe that, we could believe the other thing. I guess writers would say we could believe the whole Sam Guthrie thing with
right.
I have a hard time with that one. What could Sam Guthrie say to Gladiator to make him stand down like that?
Ask him if he wanted some possum pie. Yeah, I don't know, because it's like during that time period where they were trying to make Cannonball like this important person in the future of the X universe. Because remember there was a thing about he was going to be immortal, like the members of the
he was supposed to be an external. Yeah, he's supposed to be like one of the newer externals or whatever.
And then his powers were getting better and this and that. And then it was like somebody changed their mind and he went back into obscurity. And then somehow he ended up married to a member of the Imperial Guard for a while. I don't even know if he still is.
And then the other thing that wasn't the same Sam though. I'm about to say it's like that's a different Sam, I believe, that became a member of Nova Corps.
I don't know. I just remember again in Hickman's Avengers, Sam and Sunspot were there, and Sam was married to somebody in the Imperial Guard because they were arguing about why are you leaving Earth? You should be protecting it. And he goes, well, I have my duty.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know which Sam that was, but I remember that. But yeah, like I gave up on X-Men not soon after Onslaught and all that stuff with okay, now Cannonball is going to become an A team member and everything, and Wolverine losing his nose was the biggest one to me. I was like, I can't do this.
Feral Wolverine with no nose.
I can't do this.
Well, that's also, you also mentioned another character that I thought that they kind of devalued because they never allowed him to get to his ultimate potential. Roberto, aka Sunspot.
Oh yeah.
Technically, he's like another character that if he truly reaches his true potential, that's another character that could not be beaten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there was an evil future version of him that was in charge of was it the Mutant Liberation Front or the Brotherhood of Evil Mutant? He was an X-Force as a future bad guy at one point,
Right.
and he was like way overpowered. But yeah, I don't know. I like a good number of the New Mutants characters, and it was just like they didn't want to. After a while, they just gave up on developing them.
Well, you had your favorites, and those favorites got replaced by the, if I hate to say it, almost like Liefeld drawings of Cable and we had the Cable issue, and then we had like people like Boom Boom and his version of not yeah his version of Six Pack coming in, Cable Six Pack coming in, and Domino and all of them. But we lost people who we started to care about that was coming into their own, that was going to be very, very powerful in the bigger scheme of things, that was going to going from being the B team of mutants to the actual X-Men A team.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just fell off the face of the earth, like Danny Moonstar.
Oh yeah.
She was ready.
Mm-hmm.
Roberto was ready. Don't get me started with Ayanna Rasputin. She was, and that what makes me think that what Kitty Pryde said was so important back in the X-Men days, because they was trying to move her over to the New Mutants team, and she's like, no, I have already been an X-Men. I have already experienced what the A team has. These new people have not. They have to be developed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already in that process and beyond where they can reach. To be quite honest, I've been on these missions, these life and death missions that you guys have been on. They haven't.
Yeah, I don't know. There were a lot. There was the other one. There was the other female character it wasn't Danny,
What,
but it
Magma?
was no. She was another dark-haired character. I can't think of her name right now.
The one that was could turn to the werewolf.
Now I remember Wolfsbane. I'm too far away from my handbook of the Marvel Universe to look up the New Mutants characters. It'll come to me at 2 a.m. like most things do.
I think I know who you're talking about, because it's like there's been people going in and out of the New Mutants lore all the way up before Cable, and then remember we also had the 2 times the Hellions crossed over, and some of the Hellions coming over, the surviving Hellions becoming New Mutants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think you're talking about, I can't think of her name because I think she was a Hellion.
Let's see, Google will help me out here. Okay, so Danny Moonstar was Mirage originally, right? No.
I think so.
Karma.
Yes.
Korma is who I'm thinking of. Yeah, she was a Asian character from what I remember.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know whatever happened to her, but I thought she was a
Again,
neat character.
characters that fall by the wayside.
Mhm.
Just like how with Generation X, Penance.
He was cool.
Monet,
There were a lot of
Monet
cool
came a
characters.
long way, but they never really truly established her. And then they let what's his name from the New Warriors take over her name as penance for allowing Nitro to destroy most of
Speedball.
Colorado.
Yeah, Speedball.
You call him Hee-Haw.
No, it was Speedball, wasn't it? That
Yeah, I
became
think it was
Penance?
Speedball. I think it was Speedball. Yes.
Yeah.
He put on that suit that gave him constant torture, and he called himself Penance as a result. And I was like, but that's Monet's name.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I still believe that was a good storyline for Speedball.
Mhm. And
Yeah,
well,
it's like he felt that torture for years. And it's like he felt like nothing could make up for his, if I could say, hubris for not stopping the way that he did versus Nitro.
Yeah. That whole Civil War time frame right there is kind of weird to me because it like it made a lot of the Marvel heroes it's just like they're kind of villains. And like after the longest time, I believe that Tony Stark was the biggest villain in the Marvel universe. And Civil War did not help with that at all.
Well, here's the thing. This happened during a time when the X-Men merged into the normal Marvel universe. So there was no two separate universes here.
Mm-hmm.
And what hurt me more so is the fact that you had mutants that were there that just didn't just like stand up and be like, screw this. Let me tell you about what happened to us in this alternate universe where this very thing came up. The whole thing about registration acts and how far south it went.
Yeah, I think I may have my time frames wrong, but that was around the time where they like basically just gave Brian Michael Bendis like free reign over the Marvel universe, and he was just doing whatever the hell he wanted to.
Because there's like on a new X-Men team, which was pretty much Team Cap. How in the hell did Wolverine not say something? I mean, this is a guy who's a stand-up guy who is very vocal about things like this, and he didn't say nothing.
Yeah, and it was, I don't know, because it was like on one hand, I kind of liked Bendis like putting the spotlight on somewhat forgotten characters like the Jessica Drew Spider Woman, and you know, upgrading Luke Cage from just being, you know, the hero for hire. And one of my favorite characters, Brother Voodoo. I'm glad that he should, but it was like it's kind of like what he did when he came to DC and took over Superman. It was like you were talking about, they don't even think about what came before or what's going on right now. It's like, this is my story. To hell with the fact that we're supposed to be interconnected with anything. This is my story. These are my toys I'm playing with, and I'm going to do whatever I want to. And because he was Brian Michael Bendis, no one said anything.
It's like these toys that's already in play right now, let's just knock them over and knock them off the board. They never existed.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, like Age of Ultron. He just totally rewrote all the rules of time travel and stuff in the Marvel universe to make his story. And he didn't even care. He was like, whatever. And you know, it's like you can make a good story and still keep all this wacky stuff. All the stuff that you don't like, you can make it work. Or you just don't do a story that it would be involved in. That's all you got to do.
Exactly.
I mean, like Christopher Priest, when he wrote Black Panther, still found a way to bring in King Solomon's frog from the Jack Kirby days and made it make sense. So you can do it with anything.
Yep. And I agree. I agree. I mean, it comes back to the whole thing with continuity. It's just the day and age of some of these modern writers, they just don't want to go back to lore.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to do that, you create your own concepts. You don't stick with, you don't like all of a sudden, I don't know, hot writer A takes over Batman and he decides, I really like the Joker, but I don't like any of this stuff he used to do. So I'm going to make him a taxidermist, whatever. It's like you
And
just
people go
make
out
up
and
your
look
own
at him and
evil.
be like, what's wrong with you? I hate this stuff. And I suffer too much because of Wonder Woman, because of what a certain writer is doing with the Wonder Woman series. It's like, okay, you're just going to throw years of lore out the door to write it the way that you want to write this story or this story arc that you have. And the story arc that you have isn't going really anywhere because you started off the story talking about a brand new character finding out the history of her mother and the main big bad from back in the day. We already know. That's the writer that I'm talking about. And this is the same writer that gave us a very good Mr. Miracle miniseries. And you want to take over one of the big three and make people like me appreciate absolute Wonder Woman more than what he's doing.
I've fallen behind. I was enjoying Tom King's Wonder Woman, but I was enjoying it for nothing that had to do with the story he was telling. I enjoyed it because of some of the aspects that people had left out of Wonder Woman for a long time were starting to be brought back. Like, I like Angleman. I think the idea that Wonder Woman has a villain that has an evil protractor is awesome. I like her closer ties with the Wonder family. He was doing that for a little bit. But then it's like the more of the story you read is like, can't justify the good stuff with just, I don't even know what's happening right now.
Again, you went to Bible thumping from the major big bad. And then all of a sudden now you're on this island and everybody feeling good and everything. It's like, but yet was she being in a dungeon and tortured and all this other stuff? And then you gave like some weird excuse about how she escaped, and now she's up here talking to Cheetah, and then all of a sudden the rest of the Wonder Woman family goes to find her, and it's just like there's no continuity because he wants to do things the way that he wants it to be done. It's not being thought out. It's not being done in such a way where it makes sense. It's like, I'm doing it this way just to do what I want to do. But I was like, make all this tie back into Trinity. You ended issue 800 with a story dealing with Trinity, dealing with the main big bad from issue number 1, the Sovereign. And you never resolved it. No resolution, 0. Nothing got tied back to it.
Yeah, well, it's like, I keep going back to it because I like the character. He reintroduced Angleman, and he flat out in the book said, Angleman is one of the most dangerous people in the universe because he understands the anti-life equation.
Actually, he doesn't.
Which is like Darkseid's whole thing. And it's like, okay, whatever. That's it. Then when he showed up in the book, Wonder Woman beat him in a panel. Like, you cannot hype someone up that big and then they last a panel. That just makes no sense. So that's when I started to see the cracks in the story even more outside of my joy for the stuff that was coming back. And I just haven't gone back and got caught up. I'm just like, I can't, especially not when there's
like it's like after the Bible thumping issue and then the whole thing with the Wonder Woman family, it's getting harder and harder to read. because the story is going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what gets me and what really irks me more so is that those who like Tom King's run of Wonder Woman, and surprisingly enough, it's more males,
Mm-hmm.
they're loving it more so because of the simple fact that, oh, this is something that we wanted to have within Wonder Woman and this, that, and the other. It's like, what? You wanted more mindless action? You don't want actual story that goes somewhere and leads to something? You don't want to deal with a lot of the truths and the lore that she has that makes Wonder Woman Wonder Woman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was like, and I sit back and be like, yeah, this writer is about to get ready to fracture Wonder Woman fandom.
Mm-hmm.
Because once Tom King leaves, I believe all those people who buy in Wonder Woman now, they go bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom King, I think I've said it on here before. Tom King is one of those creators that I believe works better in the Marvel universe and the Marvel method than he does in DC.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he just wrote Marvel books, he could write in the exact same way he wrote Batman and Wonder Woman, and it would fit a lot better. I just think there's some creators who work better in one publishing universe than the other. Like, I know I've got a
When has
friend,
Tom King ever written in Marvel? All
The
the stuff that I
Vision.
read was DC stuff for him.
Yeah, he wrote The Vision, um, and he won like a couple of awards for his work on The Vision, and some other stuff. I don't know off the top of my head, but it's just the way he writes. Like, the first exposure I had to Tom King outside of Grayson was when they did the Commandy celebration thing, where they had all the different writers do an issue of Commandy, and there was like a loosely based story that sort of went along through all the books, but it sort of didn't. But all the books were like bombastic and fun and really felt real Kirby like. And then you get to Tom King's, and it's this depressing ass prison story with Commandy. I'm like, this just ruined the whole series. I can't. This I'm sad now.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first exposure to him outside of that. And I was like, this is not a DC book. And so I don't know. I don't.
Well, I'm going to say this, and you're probably going to agree here. Don't ever read Danger Street. I believe it's either Danger Street issue 7 or Danger Street issue 9.
Okay.
The soliloquy between two people having a duel that led to nowhere.
Okay.
Big discussion. That's all it was about. Or the fact that one was paid to do one thing, another one was paid to do another thing by the green team. It was just the whole discussion behind it as they were fighting. It became a kind of like a big kind of like, who has the sadder tale and why they have to be victorious.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up that they got to the point where they pretty much off both of themselves. And then after it was all said and done, here comes, the head member of the green team talking about, oh, well, it worked to my purposes anyway. They knocked one another out, this, that, the other, because they were both loose ends anyway. And I'm going like, he spent the whole issue dealing with how these two characters feel just to kill them off, and to have the main big bag, surprisingly enough, was the green team. I was like, yeah, you brought back something from way back when that most people would forget about, which is the green team. All these so-called boy millionaires that were, doing whatever they want because they had all these millions of dollars from things that they thought up and invested in. And it's just weird. The whole thing about Danger Street was a weird tale narrated by no other than the Boo. All because of the simple fact that the leader of the green team ended up requiring the Boo's helmet.
Okay. Now, the Green Team was one of the few New 52 books I liked when because it was written by Art Balthazar, who did Tiny Titans,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just a hoot. But outside of that, I was sitting up here for a minute trying to remember who the Green Team was when you said that.
It was to me, it was a good romp because of the simple fact that we got a lot of the older forgotten DC characters in a mini series, and they brought them back. They brought back Lady Cop. They brought back the Dingbats of Danger Street. They brought back the original Manhunters. They brought back the Green Team. The only character that they really haven't brought back was like the Prez. I mean, the Prez wasn't in this one here.
Was Brother
I mean,
Power
we
the
had
Geek
like
man?
the Creeper was in this thing. The Boo was in this thing, or AKA Dr. Fate, but it's just the helmet.
Right.
They're going to bed. Beanie and Liz is going to bed. They had a full day and no nap. Okay. Yeah, 9 pounds of bullshit lasted what should have been 17 issues. Yeah. But it was just, everything was moving along. It was going great until that issue. And then that issue, everything turned on its head and nothing made sense anymore.
Yeah. There's that for a long time was my problem I had with Grant Morrison, because I always felt like he had a lot of great stories, but he wasn't exactly 100% sure how he wanted them to end. And it's kind of like somewhere along the lines they lost the plot. Like, you cannot tell me when he started out his whole goal was to have Superman sing a song at the end of Final Crisis.
No.
Somewhere along the way something happened, and he forgot what he was doing.
I don't want to say he forgot what he was doing. He just got to the point where it's like, if he probably did the ending that he wants, how in the world the next creative team is going to take over? That's the other thing, because that was my only pet peeve about him taking over the X-Men. He created all of this new secondary mutations, and characters were getting more depth. It was something perfect. And then, my gut reaction as a college student kicked in. It's like, I hated this stuff because I knew somewhere down the line the next creative team could not keep up to what he was doing, and they would not be able to take over from where he left off once his contract was over. Yes, the evil one. The evil one, and it's not his fault. It's not his fault unless he's in that project from beginning to end. That's what happens. Any series that Grant Morris touch, and it becomes a big thing, and he puts his time into it, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be hurting for years. And I do mean years before the content of that series gets better, because I have not seen a writer or a creative team be able to pick up where he left off. Never. So hopefully the whole thing with the song thing was kind of like his way. It's like, okay, I'm through playing with the toys. Do whatever you want. I don't care. That's the way I took that.
My favorite part of his X-Men run, and I don't think they ever went back to it, was I like what were they called? The Wild Sentinels. They're like the Sentinels that were just built. There's like one that had like part of the helicopter for his head and all that stuff, because they just rebuilt out of stuff around. And I don't think anybody ever went back to that.
Well, that's because of, if I remember, well, yeah, that was during the time of Bastion, and how Bastion, with some of those Sentinels, they became self-sentient, and they started to repair themselves out of whatever junk was there. So that's the reason why they became wild.
Yeah, I know Cassandra
because
Nova
Bastion was not around. They still followed that last directive that he gave to him.
Because like he would always do stuff like that, and like his Batman, talking about not ignoring the lore. He put everything in his Batman right. I mean, he had the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh in there, everything, and it all made sense in Grant Morrison's world. And then, was it Snyder that took over after him?
I don't remember who took over, but that's the curse. That's the curse of Grant Morrison right there.
Mm-hmm.
The next person has their hands full, because unless they know what he was going for, paid attention to what he was doing, plus try to mix the lore back into it, you're screwed.
You know, I like Scott Snyder as a writer. I think he does some really cool stuff, but I don't think he did a good Batman. And I think it might be because he followed Morrison more than anything else. Of course, I thought the Court of Owls was kind of hokey, but that was just me.
Well, that's the thing. The one thing that if I ever wrote Batman, that I had to write Bruce Batman. Bruce would eventually find out what his father was really like. That's the thing that I believe that Batman needs right now. Bruce needs to know his history from his father's side, especially what Thomas did before he passed away, to understand why Alfred was truly there and the friendship that he had with Alfred. All the stuff that he did behind the scenes with a lot of the mafioso that was there in Gotham. He was not just the good-natured doctor. He was a doctor for a reason.
What was it? It was in the Long Halloween. It was that the Falcones that showed up at Wayne Manor to have a gunshot wound fixed? Okay.
That's the reason why Carmine. That's the reason why initially Carmine did not have any ill will towards Bruce, because Carmine knew that Thomas was their go-to guy to patch their people up. Those are the things that Bruce doesn't understand. It's like Bruce knew that Carmine was like the head of the Falcone family as far as the mob aspect is concerned, but he never understood the relation of Martha and Thomas to whatchamacallit. I can't remember, Carmine. Thomas and Carmine was not the best of friends, but there was an understanding that was there. And that was the whole thing about the reason why I wish Quarter Hours was explained a little bit better. Thomas was a member. That's the only reason why Carmine had to play ball with Thomas. He couldn't intimidate Thomas because Thomas was a member of the court. But at the same time, Carmine had enough information to bring Thomas down.
Now, I did not like the Court of Owls, and I did not like a lot of the stuff that Snyder did in Batman. But once he got to metal and death metal, all that stuff made sense, and I liked it better. Because originally I was just like, this is just some new, yet another secret society nobody knew about in Gotham. And I was just like, we have like a dozen of those. And then by the time they got to metal, I was like, okay, all of this makes sense. And he just had Bruce Wayne riding on a Velociraptor, so all's forgiven.
No, but that's the whole thing. It's like the Court of Owls was not really meant for Bruce. It was really just try to tell history.
Again,
the Court of Owls allowed Bruce to be Batman out of respect for Thomas. That's how scary the Court of Owls really is.
Now, I will say to this day, I'm still not down with that whole thing about Dick Grayson was supposed to be a Talon. That was a little bit too much for me. I'm just like, no.
That one, yeah, it's tough to swallow, but at the same time, who in the court was going to step in and convince Bruce to make him otherwise?
True.
That
Yeah.
was the whole thing. That's the reason why I say I kind of wish somebody would do the story to really show Bruce how much his father was. It's like, yeah, he was a billionaire. Your father was a billionaire, and this, that, and the other, was liked by most of Gotham. But the thing about it is, he was liked by most of Gotham, despite the secrecy he had to keep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he never understood why Thomas was kind of like the shield that nobody else wanted for Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, was he a good guy? By no means. That's why I love Flashpoint so much better, because we got to see the Thomas Wayne that was always alluded to in Batman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he was not above putting anybody in their place, but also at the same time he would give everybody their due respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've not read Flashpoint Beyond yet.
Yeah, that's a must. Please read that, because you would see more of what I mean by that last statement.
Mm-hmm. It's in my. I have like all of these the short boxes that have the different comic art on them.
Mm-hmm.
I rotate those through my to be read pile, because I have like a dozen long boxes I'm behind on,
Mm-hmm.
and Flashpoint Beyond I think is right after I finish DC versus Vampires, so it's coming up. I just haven't got to it yet.
Okay, so this is not a spoiler, but it's going to get your appetite wet.
Mm.
How he deals with the fallout between Atlantis and Themyscira is classic.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because it's kind of like the ultimate manipulation of Wonder Woman and Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman.
Okay.
Something that Bruce would have never done.
Well, I will definitely
did it. Thomas did it. And Thomas did it with common sense. He taught common sense to both of them. And just like, okay. It's like, it's up here. It's like, you know, it's just so weird. It's like so much common sense that he just strode up in there, like not a care in the world.
But
Said
not
a couple of things to Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was like, well, what do you expect? You try to arbitrate for Themyscira to be lenient on you as a this, that, or the other. It's like, nope, that's not my goal.
Mm.
My goal is something more important than what you realize.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, and then he strolls up into the throne room of Arthur Curry, talking about, oh, you have the nerve to show your face here. It's like, are you here to beg for mercy for Gotham again and this, that, and the other, yada, 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 yada? No, I just care to get this thing right here. So you try to steal from me. It's like, no. How can I steal from somebody that is going to be dead? Oh, so you're here to challenge me. I'm not here to do that. But they are.
I look forward to reading it. I always thought it was one of the most messed up parts about Flashpoint was that they had poor Geoforce as a weapon for Atlantis. He was stuck in that chamber and kept raising the tides and everything. It was like, that's not fair. I like Geoforce. Don't do him like that.
Well, again, they did a lot of different stuff in Flashpoint Beyond that just made me so love it. So like One True Superman versus Thomas Wayne. What Thomas Wayne did was the greatest thing that any hero could have done. He didn't run away. He didn't cower. He took a punch, shrugged it off as like, okay, you got my attention. What do you want? I mean, that would have that fight, if it would have escalated beyond taking a one punch from one true Superman. If it would have went any further than that, he knew he was dead.
Oh,
He knew he was dead. He took the one punch, shrugged it off. Superman was like, I see. And he was like, okay, you got my attention. What do you want? You're like, I'm not trying to enrage you. It's like, where in the world is going on? It's like, and then that for some reason it threw Superman off. It threw one true Superman off. It's like, but I thought you was doing this, and this. It's like, no, that's not my goal.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff about Flashpoint that I liked.
No one likes Millhouse or Geo.
Hey, come on now. I grew up on Batman and the Outsiders. But there was a lot, like, I liked that they just, for some reason, felt the need to bring back Alfred's evil alter ego, the Outsider, for no reason whatsoever. But it was like, it felt so much like they were just like, this is our Age of Apocalypse.
That's what they were
And
gunning for.
And it shouldn't have. I mean, I know that's what it was, but it shouldn't have been like every book. I'm just like, okay, so this is the DC equivalent of this Age of Apocalypse book. They should have just let it be.
She's going based upon the cartoon. The cartoon. He called himself the Macaroni.
Yes, lovely. It is a me problem. There are a lot of me problems. One of them is
the you problem is dealing with Geoforce. That's what you were saying. It's like you liking Geoforce.
I like Geoforce. I also like the fact that one day I'm going to get a Grant Morrison written Brother Power the Geek, and it'll be the greatest thing ever. So yes, I have a lot of problems when it comes to comic books. I will admit it. But yes, I like Geoforce, even though he's a bit creepy because now that I'm older and go back and read Batman the Outsiders, Halo was like 12 years old, and that was just weird.
Well, like I said, we grew up in a day where you had Kitty Pryde throwing herself at Pietro, only to find out that Pietro wasn't about that life.
I always liked Colossus. Was one of my favorite X characters. I liked him and Nightcrawler, and I was indifferent about Storm because by the time I was really invested in the X-Men, Storm had a mohawk and didn't have any powers anymore, and so I was just like, I like the people with the superpowers.
Don't worry about it. She's correcting people.
Yes, and but I don't know. I always like the B and C list X-Men characters more. Like, I know Cyclops is polarizing, but I always liked Alex Summers better. And Alex and Polaris were my power couple of the X universe.
Polaris got played to the left, and that's the problem with the X-Men. And again, this is where you would agree with Elaine. I agree with Elaine. Polaris got played to the left throughout the whole thing. Granted, Alex was not popular. He was brought in, toward, I should say brought in after the whole Cochran Giant Size X-Men 1. But the whole fact of the matter is that once Alex ended up meeting with Polaris, their dynamic was more palatable than Jean and Scott. They kind of balanced one another where Jean and Scott wasn't balanced.
Yeah. Yeah.
Justice for Dazzler, Polaris, Yaraflor, and Who is this Donna Troy? Who is this Donna Troy that you're talking about? She would get the joke. She would get that reference. Who is this Donna Troy? The whole thing is that Donna Troy has so many different storylines where it's like, who is Wonder Girl? Who is Donna Troy? Who is Wonder Girl? Who is Donna Troy? Like,
Yeah.
make up your mind.
Yeah, I like Donna.
Who is Wonder Girl? Who is Donna Troy?
Donna, Dick, and Wally are my trinity in the DC universe. They're everything should revolve around them now. And I always felt bad because Donna was always done wrong after Crisis.
But that's the whole thing. They made certain that Donna was just not a clone of Diana.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it kind of ruins things too, because if she was a true clone of Diana, that would have meant that they're both were golems. They both have the golem type origin.
Yeah.
Which means that technically Donna was unstoppable too, which to me makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It made sense, but they wanted to move Diana away from that golem origin, so they had to do what they did.
Mm-hmm.
This whole Troya is the one thing that I just didn't like, making her kind of like a cosmic being. That origin nonsense was just nonsense. I throw that away.
That was a bit much.
But I will admit this, and those who are out there listening to me, you might hate it, and a lot of you are going to love it. Out of the 4 that we know as the original Teen Titans, I still give props to our man Wally West. He was the only one that kept his word and actually became a member of the Justice League as a actual Flash, not a kid Flash, not up under like a Nightwing or a different moniker. He came in as a Flash.
Yep. Yeah. Wally's my Flash. I grew up and started reading when Barry was the Flash, but I never really got into Barry. But yeah, and because I was reading Teen Titans at the time, man, what do you mean Kid Flash grew up and became Flash? That's awesome.
Yeah. The one thing that I hated was the run of the Flash where they eventually killed off Wally.
Mm-hmm.
Which started the whole thing about the Rogues. I forgot what the title was, where the Rogues were on the run. Because Barry came back and found out that one of the Rogues killed Wally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know. It was like they just brought Barry Allen back to bring Barry Allen back.
Mm-hmm.
They even made fun of it in some of the books where he was like, there's got to be more to me coming back than just kicking Darkseid in the face. Like, no, that's pretty much what you're brought back for, and now we're stuck with you.
Barry could not do the things that Wally was able to do.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
The fastest man alive will forever be Wally West.
Oh yeah.
I still try to fathom, and I still remember that issue of the Flash like it's clear as day. Wally saving a whole nation of people in the amount of time that it takes a nuclear bomb to go off.
Mm-hmm.
A whole nation, hand carrying them one by one, and outran a nuclear blast all at the same time. No Flash has ever came close to doing a feat like that. None. Zero.
Yep. And he was the only Flash also that could he didn't need the treadmill or anything to travel through time. He just could run through time. And then they would
He
like do
had
away with
almost
memory.
instant access to the Speed Force. That's how good he
Mhm.
was.
Yep.
And that's
And, you know,
not an easy feat to do, because even for Barry must at least reach a certain speed before he could attempt to access the Speed Force.
mhm.
Wally could almost do it at will.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, he also, for a while, they gave him, I don't think they do it anymore. Wally also had the power where he could lend speed to people,
Mm-hmm.
or he could take it away. And I thought that was really neat. But I think after Mark Wade left, they quit doing stuff with that. But I
I think
always thought that was really
that was the
cool.
next evolution. That was the next evolution to him, because
Mhm.
he was slowly becoming what I thought would have been the next Black Flash.
Mhm.
He would be able to rival somebody like Black Flash. It's like the Black Flash you can't outrun, but Wally was getting close to that level where even the Black Flash might have to worry about him.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like now there are 74 Flashes. Yeah. Yeah, stop. Yeah. Yeah. Jeff John is like, oh, we was little. It's like it's like I was little when it was Barry. Right.
Mhm.
Right. I know that one. And then it's like, oh, I was little when Spidey wasn't married. Take the marriage. Yep. That's the like I said, that's the creators that don't want to deal with the lore. They just make the changes that they want to make because they can't deal with it. And then the
Well,
Flash runs faster than he ever ran before every evolution for the Flash storyline. No, no, I kind of disagree with that, because Impulse cannot beat Wally. Nora could not beat Wally. Every Flash
um,
that came after Wally, every Flash that came after Wally was slower than Wally.
yeah. Mark Wade was building up to Energy Flash from Kingdom Come was Jay Garrick.
Yeah, that was Garrick.
It wasn't Wally.
Yeah, Garrick's body couldn't keep up.
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole thing about Energy Flash.
Yeah.
Garrick's body gave up. It's weird because that was the first time that Jay Garrick ever touched the Speed Force and his body gave out.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, his body gave out, and he had to go full energy form.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
they are not Flash. Okay, yeah, but yeah, they that's what he wanted with the lending speed, yeah, and such.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Now,
again, without it's like Jay Geyer was the reason. Well, between Jay Geyer and Barry, that was the reason why there was a such thing as a cosmic treadmill.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
None of them was quite fast enough to do it on their own, so they used the treadmill to try to travel back in time.
Now, I did like with Mark Wade's run where you saw throughout all of time all the different bearers of the Flash name. That I thought was kind of cool. But again, that's something else that they don't do anything with anymore, which is really sad because they had that one Flash that was from Jupiter and he was like a sumo wrestler. I thought that was just too much. I was like, this is awesome. I want overweight Wally West running from Big Belly Burger to Big Belly Burger.
But all those are from different universes as too. They're from different
Mm-hmm.
universes. They were not from all the same universe too. That was the whole problem with that.
Mm.
But from the main branch here, it's like once we got to Wally, I believe Wally had kids. The kids never amounted to much as far as using the Speed Force. They had access to it, but they were nowhere near like how Wally was. Just like with Barry, the difference between Jay and Barry were night and day difference.
Mm-hmm.
Then from Barry to Wally was like light years, several light years difference. And I just remember all this so-called gags that they used to have here. It's like they're up here. It's like with watching. It's like Wally was watching. It's like this is cartoon, by the way. Wally was watching Impulse and Barry talk to one another, and he was talking so fast that nobody can make him out. And it's like, well, it's like what? It's like I wonder what they say. It's like, oh, they're talking about strategy right now. It's like, how do you know that? Oh, they're just talking. They're just talking at least 5 times faster than what most people are. It's like you're not part of the Speed Force.
Mhm.
So that's how they kept. That's how they want to keep things secret from you.
Yeah, that was in Young Justice.
Yep.
Yeah, which they did Wally wrong in Young Justice. He should not have died, but that's different.
She reversed her. Yeah, I just realized I was reverse Flash. LOL. I was the red and yellow trail. I was yeah. You were earbought on. You were so much of a fan. You were so much of a fan of your mother that you would have done anything to become her. But that's the other thing. Was Eobon Thawne really faster than Barry? Or was he just more intelligent? That's the question that I always ask myself here, because technically Eobon never truly beat Barry. He always outsmarted him.
Yeah. Now, I don't think he was ever. I think in the comics they brought up he was not as fast as Barry. He just used his intelligence and his what do they call it, his future knowledge to outsmart the Flash. But I may be wrong about that. Did they ever? And they may have, and I just don't remember it. But Booster Gold was from the same century that Reverse Flash was from, right? Did they ever somewhere like he was like Booster's college professor and failed him or something or anything?
See, that's the whole problem with a lot of DC type stuff here, because if that was the case, once Booster came back with the suit and everything, would Eobon would have been like, oh, I know what that's from. I know how to beat it. I know how to beat it. You're not a threat to me anymore.
Right.
It's like, oh, I see that you're using the skeet system. I know how to beat that.
Yeah.
Again, nobody in DC ever thought about that. Just like most of people who write for DC don't want to write ways that regular human beings could beat Superman through science.
Right. Oh, speaking of Superman, did you see James Gunn put up the teaser for the next Superman movie, and it's got Lex in the suit, the battle armor suit?
No, I didn't see that yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's not the actors, it's he had Jim Lee do the art, but it's
She said Skeech was like a leapfrog for beginner superhero.
Yep.
Kindergarten superheroes. Wow. Sorry. That was funny to me, because I know those leapfrog pads and everything. Just one floating around is like, trying to give you advice because you're still a superhero 101. Like Booster Gold one.
We had leapfrog. We had leapfrog pads all over the house when the girls were smaller. So yeah, I have no problem believing that that's Booster's level with one. So yeah, I know some people hated it, but I liked in when in the series 52, not the new 52, but the series 52, how Skeet got taken over by Mr. Mind, and little Mr. Mind inside the Skeets was cool. I always thought that was awesome. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I'm like, man, come on.
No, but it fit. It fit for what it was for what it was, because Mr. Mind was one of the few people that understood that Skeets was a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody kept seeing Skeets around. It's like, no, you don't understand how powerful that little bitty thing is.
Yeah.
Everybody's up here. It's like, oh, Booster goes too. Booster goes, like, no, Skeets technically runs everything.
Mm-hmm.
He just allows Booster to do what he does. If Skeets ever attaches himself back to that suit, that's your ass.
Mm-hmm.
That's your ass. That's the whole thing. Like Parallax said, it's like, yeah, it's a leapfrog for Booster Gold. It's like the only thing that he took is Skeets to be looked at it, and then he opened him, and then there was like, oh, he's fine, and they didn't see Mr.
That's right. Nobody noticed the little talking worm with glasses inside of him.
I swear, Mr. Mime is like one of the most overlooked characters in the DC universe about how evil he could be just because of the way he looks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always like I like Mr. Mind. I think he's an awesome character, and I think it's even better he's a worm. I like it was in the JSA books. I think it was when Jeff Johns was writing it. Mr. Mind was in it, and he was like controlling a lot of the old Infinity Inc. members, and that's why they went with Black Adam to Kahndaq. And that which the Black Rain storyline really took Black Adam and made him more than just the mustache twirling villain of the week character, and I love that.
Well, he was always an anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
He was always the anti-hero, and the more you get into his story, the more you understand why he went against the Wizard or Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
It made sense. It's like, yeah, you were selected to be his champion, but being his champion also forced your people into a worse predicament. What else would I do is just take the power, take these powers and free my people and be the guy for my people after all that subjugation.
Yeah. I'm talking about there are people going to bed in the house. I'm telling them good night. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I liked that was one of the few things that Jeff Johns did, because I didn't like a lot of what he did with the JSA book, but I like the fact that he established again Black Adam's like more than just the Reverse Flash Captain Marvel.
Right. He was way more than that. He was way more than that, and there was a lot more history to be told. Just like with Shazam, or as we know, Captain Marvel, there's a lot more to be told with him. Each champion was different, and I believe there was almost like 300 years or something like that between them.
Between Black Adam and Billy was like 5,000 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Egypt. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And because I remember it's like the first time that Billy found out about Black Adam, it was like, what, a former champion, this, that, the other. And then when Black Adam finally saw Billy in Shazam form, it was like, oh, he didn't realize that Billy was a kid at the time. It was like Billy had to grow up real quick fighting Tef.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that whole storyline with the with how Jeff Johns basically roped in all the ancient Egyptian mythology in the DC universe together for the JSA, I thought was really cool, because you had you had Khufu and Naboo and the Orb of Ra and Black Adam, and it was all there. And it's like, of course, this all is interconnected because
And the
it's
Thanagarians.
yes,
Yeah, they have to.
yes.
They brought back in the whole thing about Carter.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it worked, and I like that because it was until he got too big for his britches. Jeff Johns was really good at like what we were talking about with Grant Morrison and Christopher Priest about bringing all the lore together where it all made sense. But then once he became Jeff Johns, is like the hell with it. I can do whatever I want to because I'm Jeff Johns. And anybody they put over the books is like, well, it's Jeff. He can do this. It'll be okay. So, and it's I'm not giving him credit for. I'm not trying to give him more credit than he deserves. But I think if Rob Liefeld would have had editors on top of him longer that made him stick the way to draw, he wouldn't have become the no feet guy.
He
Because
wouldn't
he's
become
not
the
completely
pinup guy that can't draw feet.
yeah, because he's not completely untalented. But if you go back, if you look at like Hawk and Dove was one of his first things he wrote in mainstream. He drew in mainstream comics. It looks nothing like Rob Liefeld work because he wasn't Rob Liefeld yet, and there was an editor going, "No, this character's biceps are bigger than its head. Fix this." And then
And
once he got a name, people quit staying on him like that. And so he is like, well, sure, yeah, I can put Cable's got 87 pouches on one arm and one eye is the size of Detroit. Because
well,
no one's going to say anything.
I still feel this way. It's two things that caused that to happen. One, he got hero struck with Todd McFarlane. The second thing is Marvel rode him too much. He was their prototypical future. They were going to make their name. Marvel was going to become, take it to the 2000s with Rob.
Yeah.
But two problems. Rob cannot write, and he was hero struck with Todd McFarlane because he agreed with Todd with the way that artwork and the direction of art should have gone. But yeah, it's like, yeah, and his forearm is bigger than his thighs. No problem here.
It's crazy because I'm finishing up along with trying to catch up with modern books. I'm finally going back and finishing reading Infinity Inc. from the 80s. And that All-Star Squadron and Infinity Inc. were two of Todd McFarlane's first mainstream comic works. Outside of ridiculously big capes, Todd's artwork back then looks nothing like it was when he got onto Spider-Man. And then it looks nothing like when he was on Spawn. And I really think it's just
considering the fact that he was drawing a prototype version of Spawn in Infinity.
With Obsidian.
Right.
Yeah. But it's just amazing to me. It's like it almost, aside from the Todd McFarlane stuff, like with the cape, if I wouldn't have known it was Todd McFarlane art, I would not have known because it was so different than what he did later when he had more free reign to draw however he wanted to. And I think one of the big downfalls of Image in the early years was the fact that all of those talented creators didn't have someone on top of them saying, hey, your stories don't make sense from issue to issue. And because of that, they didn't keep that momentum they originally had. Because like I liked a lot of the books that Liefeld was putting out from Image. I thought Youngblood was cool. I liked Supreme. But then it was like each issue was like someone else is writing it. It didn't even seem like the same book. And because of that, it's like you can't follow this. And if you can't follow it, I'm not going to buy it.
that was the okay. She was saying it's like even his extreme 90s style, he got better at it over the years. Never spent a dollar to learn biology and physiology and draw feet talking about Liefeld. Oh, Batman 427. Yeah.
Yes.
The Spawn Cape incident.
The Kate and the horns on his cowl that were 27 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, they didn't have a proper editor or deadline. Max dropped like 7 issues in 4 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And to think, you mentioned Youngblood. I hated Youngblood, but I love Team Youngblood.
Mm-hmm.
Reason? Different writer, different creator groups. It wasn't 100%. It wasn't 100% Liefeld. It was somebody else drawing. It's somebody else writing, and it kind of made sense. And I try to go back to Youngblood. And Youngblood did not make any sense.
Yeah, it was. No one was sitting there saying, "Okay, this is what you wrote in issue 1. Why is issue 2 so different? Let's make this make sense." Or like Supreme. There is a big overlying mystery about why did he disappear from Earth after World War II and no one ever saw him again? Man, that mystery was dropped like 4 issues in. No one even talked about it.
It wasn't a factor because he was doing other cool stuff, and they could draw all these massive pinups where he looked ultra cool, just like the whole thing with Glory. Glory was supposed to be like their version of Wonder Woman, but yet their version of Themyscira was not really Themyscira, and it was just something that was off, and it really didn't have no real story other than the fact that the women characters looked very, very good, and it was a lot of action up in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, or like Savage Dragon. I mean, it's still going on. So I'm giving him credit for that one, but Eric Larson, yeah.
But
it's like
there was other series that I loved, but they couldn't survive because the characters were not truly developed, and when they started to develop them, they developed them in their own series that died. But that's Freak Force.
Yep, Freak Force. Yeah, well, the thing with Savage Dragon, I just glanced at a comic issue recently, and I'm like, man, Savage Dragon is like maybe a step above, maybe just one step above softcore porn, and that's about it. Everybody's having sex with everybody in that book. I'm like, I don't remember this when this book started.
Well, again, that you have to be mindful that the Savage Dragon book had the infamous Spread Eagle panel where I forgot her name was giving birth.
Yeah.
So yeah, that opened up the door for books like Saga to have like a sex fest every other issue.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. No, we're not talking about Malibu and Ultraverse and how bad that Ultraverse cartoon was with Prime.
Hey man, Ultra Force is on Tubi right now, and I sat down and rewatched it. Malibu had some cool ass villains. They just didn't know what to do with any of them. Because Lord Pumpkin and Rune were awesome. Their visuals were great, but it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, the women heroes had no internal organs. Yeah, they were stick figures. Literally, their midsections were barely like that thick of a stick. But yet they had ultra long legs, these big boobs. But yet, if you hit them in their stomach, they will break in half. Dude, did you see the cover of the Savage Dragon 225?
Yes.
$12.99. Yep. Then she talked about made me. No, my head didn't kerplode. I was just more along the lines like, why am I watching this mess? This just did not age well. They're not even telling a story. It's just like it was all over the place. Hurricanes are like, oh, I don't work with teams anymore, but yet but yet you started off working with a team.
Mm-hmm.
You started off working with a team. I was like, I don't work with teams no more. This, that, and the other. Blah 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 blah. It's like, really? But you started off as a team. It's like, are you not going to deal with your PSTD and then the kid that turns into Prime? So I guess Prime was kind of like their interlude into having a Captain Marvel like character. You know, up there like, oh, I'm so worried about our son and this, that, and the other. I wonder if he's on drugs or something. That's like, no, he does not want the, he does not want the whatever that primordial ooze that comes over him that turns him into Prime. He does not want you to see that here. But yet the dad knows about it and just can't really keep the secret. It's like, oh no, he's just going to be just like a regular kid. But still, I'm worried about him. It's like, that's not the typical dad response here. Yeah, I saw the shit that turned him white like Winston. that's a good real Ghostbusters reference.
Yep.
Turn him white like Winston. She's talking about Winston Sedamore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And let's not forget when Marvel bought the Ultraverse, and all of a sudden you found out there were 7 Infinity Gems, and one of them was stuck over there with the Malibu characters,
Mm-hmm.
and that shit went away real quick too.
Yeah, because nobody really liked a lot of the Malibu characters. I mean, it's like Hardcase was meh, Prime was meh. We barely got to characters like Siren and stuff, which was like, okay, you got something there, and then the stories got repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so they create all these. This one organization creating all these weapons. So, why are they creating all these weapons, and why you're so important?
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense. Ultraverse had potential. It did have some potential, but I just feel that because Malibu got bought by Marvel is like, yeah, we want your characters. It's like, we see potential in your characters, but we're not going to help you develop them. We're not going to help you write them. We're not going to help you promote them. Sorry, but we just going to let you run the studio to the ground, and then we just go ahead and pick them up and take over these characters as we see fit, and then they went bankrupt.
yeah.
And we never
Well,
saw.
they didn't even want the characters. What they wanted, like their color separating machines or something they had to print the books.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even really care about the books, the comics or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yep.
One day, somebody who some plucky kid who grew up reading Malibu and thought it was awesome is going to join Marvel, and there'll be a revival.
Yeah, that was U.S. still buying the Pennsylvania Railroad by buying a company. Oh, you might be a threat. We want to buy clothes. Yeah. Marvel probably saw them as a threat as far as being able to print at a decent clip, because it was all in-house. Malibu was all in-house.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's like Malibu wasn't that much of a threat. Because I'm trying to think, what was their most popular book that people even now kind of wish that they was still going? I don't see nobody calling for Hardcase or Prime or any of those original Ultraverse characters.
Now, outside of like some of the villains in like Prom and Hardcase, and I think Nightman or something. If you held a gun to my head, I couldn't pick out a lineup of Malibu characters.
I would know which ones were Malibu characters on site. I would not know their names.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Marvel literally bought them under the pretense that they had good printing and coloring.
Yeah.
And they wanted the secret, so they bought Malibu and took the info and basically it shut the door. It's like, oh, you guys color it and print real well. What's your size secret? It's a trade secret. Okay. We buy your company. Now what's the secret? Well, do we have to? Yeah, we bought the company. Okay, the secret is this. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, by the way, clear out your desk by Friday.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're coming up on 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Yeah. So if you're ready, I'm ready here.
I'm ready. I'm gonna go finish my dinner.
Well, Parallax, you have to verify it. Did they do it like the Mr. Spacely, or did they do it just like Vince McMahon? That would be the question of the day. Did they do it like Mr. Spacely, or did they do it like Mr. McMahon?
Now you do realize, with knowing what we know today, the Mr. McMahon thing is a lot more creepy than you meant it to be.
Yeah. Knowing what we know today, but it's like they had unique ways of firing people.
Mm-hmm.
Come to think of it, the Mr. McMahon one is now even more creepier because of the way he did it.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm thinking too much here. Mr. Spacely. No, it can't be Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump was short and to the point. McMahon was long and drawn out, so was Mr. Spacely's.
And Mr. Spacely had better hair than all of them.
Yes. Even though he was partially bald.
Exactly.
He did have better hair, but partially bald. He had the spot in the back.
Oh.
Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
That too. That gag got really old in a hurry.
Yeah. Especially when you realize it was probably real.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about Herculoids next week.
Yeah, we're going to have Herculoids next week, and then after that, I believe it's Galaxy. No, yeah, Galaxy Trio. I believe after that. Hold on, I could tell you in a second here. So next week it is Herculoids, then Galaxy Trio, then Birdman, followed up beginning October with Space Ghost, and then we get to like the lesser known ones such as Shazam, Young Samson, Dino Boy and Ugg. Dang, I'm missing a couple now.
Frankenstein Jr.
Johnny Quest is going to bring up the rear for that month. I know that much because we had to talk about the GOAT, Johnny Quest. Frankenstein Jr. Are we going to do something with Frankenstein Jr.?
Did you say Mitor yet?
Yeah, Mitor. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got 6 more. We got 6 more to go. 6 more to go here. The Impossibles were cartoony. Gleep was the whatchamacallit?
One of the little shape-shifting things.
Monkey from the Super Friends. That was Gleep.
Now Gleek was from the Super Friends. Goop and Gleep was from Herculoids. They were the little yellow things.
Right. I remember Gloop, but I thought the little one was called something else.
No.
The talking characters.
I'm gonna go and dig out my old DVDs and bone up on all these shows.
Well, like I said, I could talk about Birdman and Galaxy Trio. That's kind of like my specialty. I have that on DVD and everything. Watch those episodes kind of religiously here. Herculoids, I know that there's a lot more lore there than what meets the eye. So I know I'm going to need everybody else help with that. Galaxy Trio, I could pretty much cover that, but there's one thing that I want to put out there about Galaxy Trio, but I'm going to save it for that episode because I want people to kind of think here. Was Galaxy Trio and another cartoon in the same universe? I'm going to leave that with that other cartoon as a mystery.
Was it the Robo Stooges?
No,
Okay.
no. You have to be mindful. This is a cartoon from what, the 60s, 70s, being kind of like a precursor to some 80s cartoon.
Mhm. I'll have to think about that one.
I would give you a hint, because if I gave you the hint, it would be too much of a hint.
Mhm.
But I truly feel that it was a precursor. It was a precursor, or Galaxy Trio could have been the prequel stuff that led up to a possible creation of said 80s cartoon.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and give the hint anyway, since we are wrapping up.
Mm.
One of the things that I can say about that cartoon is that I hope that I'm not lying about the lore.
Mhm.
If you catch that hint, then you know which series I'm talking about.
I'll
No,
probably.
it's not the Robotic Stooges.
All right.
Think about what I just said. If I know the lore correctly, I hope that I'm not lying about the connection between the two cartoons. Yeah, I like the Centurions, but it has nothing to do with Centurions.
Well, hey, when we get done with the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, we need to dive into the Sunbow cartoons.
Okay.
Because
Well, that would
that,
mean that we need to talk about
the
the
Inhumanoids.
Visionaries, Inhumanoids, Jim and the Holograms, Transformers, G.I. Joe. There's a few others that I can't think of off the top of my head, but those are the big five.
Yeah. Wait, was Thundar?
Tomb of Dracula.
Uh-huh.
Oh shoot. No, that wasn't Sunbow Studios, Marvel Sunbow. Oh, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible Hulk.
Yep.
All of those with Marvel Sunbow.
Was Thundar Sunbow?
The X-Men pilot
Yeah.
was a Sunbow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's a lot to talk about. Yes, My Little Pony the movie, Sunbow.
Yep.
Yes, Pride of the X-Men. That's the name of the episode. That's the pilot, the 83 pilot. And to be quite honest, I would not have been upset if that would have made it to air. If that version of X-Men would have made it to air. But anyway, I know Cliff had to get going here, so we're going to wrap it up here.
Wait, Thundar the Barbarian was Hanna-Barbera too?
Yes,
Are we talking about that?
we can. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of we haven't talked about, so we got all of October. We could figure out which ones you want to talk about in October that we haven't done up to this point here. But we already got October 2nd taken care of.
Okay. I'll be totally honest. I thought Thundar was Sunbow, so that's why I wanted to talk about it. But,
No, that's Hanna-Barbera.
So yeah.
So Thundar was one, and Goldar and the Golden Lance was the other one.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, here we go. Let's go ahead and end it here. So here you go, Cliff.
All right. Thank you guys for sitting through this with us. I know it's not as much fun without Elaine, but we did our best. Join us next week. We're going to talk about the Herculoids. That's going to be fun. Until then, you can come see me in Olive Branch. Thank you. Come again.
And as always, tonight's episode of Comic Book Spectrum is always brought to you by Jeffrey Hayes and Plasma Fire Graphics. If you need somebody to give you that cover that will wow people, to make them come over to your table, to make them be like, hey, tell me about this book. Hey, I like the way that book is. Tell me more about if I can buy it. Give Jeffrey Hayes a quick little message over there at plasmafiregraphics.com, because why? Whenever you have an award-winning creator that's doing your cover, you'll get things just like this right here.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasma Fire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
You've seen those covers, you've seen the graphics that's being used. That's what Jeffrey Hayes could bring to you. Only thing you have to do is just go ahead and visit him at plasmafiregraphics.com or hit him up on his Facebook group for Plasma Fire Graphics. As far as I'm concerned, I will be right back here Saturday with another episode of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. What we're going to talk about, have no clue as of yet, but I'm still, watching the interwebs and seeing what other people are talking about and everything here. As far as accountability, there may be more things to talk about accountability wise. There's going to be more new comic books for new comic book pickups for the week here. There's a lot of stuff to be had here. So until then, live life, grow, and be well. And unlike our founder for Comic Book Spectrum, Brian K. Morris, I don't care if you wash your hands, but never, and I do mean never, apologize for being awesome. See you next week right here for Comic Book Spectrum. Good night.